When I first moved from California all the way to Norway, I expected it to be beautiful, quiet, and peaceful. And while I was right, there are still so many things that shock me about Norwegian people. And today, I'm going to be sharing 4 of those with you guys in this video. Alright, so the first thing that really surprised me when I first came to Norway, and something that I actually have done, is buying your groceries in Sweden. Now you're probably asking, why would you do this, or how do you even do this? Well, for many Norwegians, they actually go to Sweden to buy their groceries because the prices are almost half of what they would be in Norway. And if you guys look on the map, you can see that Norway and Sweden border each other. So what most Norwegians do, and what I've done, is you take a car up to Sweden, which is, maybe 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and you buy all the essential groceries or any other items you need there. I remember first going there and thinking, oh, it's probably going to be a little bit cheaper. But when I got there, I was shocked. First of all, when I walked into this grocery store, there were people with carts buying massive amounts of bulk items. I mean, it felt like I was back in Costco or in Walmart because of how large these, packs of Coke were, and candy and alcohol. And I was just like, this is so smart, because the prices were insanely cheaper. When I looked at the prices, I was like, oh my God, I gotta buy all my things here. It's so efficient, it's so smart, because in the US, people don't travel to the next state to get groceries. I mean, maybe some people do, but there's not really that much of a price difference, So this is something very interesting that Norway does, and very smart. The next thing that surprised me, number 2, is something called May 17th, which I actually got to experience. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this, it is pretty much like the 4th of July, except in Norway. So I remember going to Oslo and just expecting, some fireworks or a get together, but this was on another level. When I got into Oslo, there were so many people walking the streets, waving flags, a huge parade through all the streets, led by children. Yes, children. Very surprising to see. And just people enjoying themselves and drinking and talking. And it felt more like a family reunion rather than everyone trying to be patriotic. And there were so many interesting things I saw. For example, I saw people wearing something called a bunad, which I'll pop up right here. It is a traditional Norwegian outfit, I think worn by primarily women during May 17th. Now this thing is beautiful. I mean, it looks incredible. I love the design. I love how it looks. And I heard it can be quite expensive, around 3,000 to 4,000 USD, which I guess if you wear every May 17th, probably worth it. But this was such a cool experience, and I 100% want to witness it again, because I think everyone should in their life. The next thing I'm going to be discussing is trust. This is something I also thought was very, very interesting and surprising about the Norwegian culture. They are built on extreme trust. Now, let me give you some examples. I remember walking the streets of Oslo and seeing these stands of just clothes hanging out on the street with nobody attending it, nobody watching it, and just a small QR code saying, Vips here, which I think is like the Venmo, to send money. And I was like, wow, this is incredible to see, because in other places, I would have expected that to be stolen within 10 minutes or 5 minutes. But no, here in Norway, people trust each other very highly and will trust you that you're not going to steal any items. And this is also seen with leaving items in a cafe. Nobody's going to touch those or steal those, or even leaving kids out in strollers outside of cafes, and nobody's going to steal that either. I don't know who would do that. It was just so interesting to see how trustworthy people are here, and I think it's amazing to be a part of, because it feels like everybody is looking out for you and everybody wants you to succeed and feel accepted. So I think this was very interesting to see, and definitely something I'm not used to, because in other places, trust is not very well known. People steal, people lie, people cheat. But here in Norway, I have yet to experience that. All right, so the next thing I'm going to be talking about, which really surprised me, was how non-confrontational Norwegian people are. So, in the US, I was very used to hearing people shouting all the time, getting angry at each other, even upset if they got the wrong order or wanted a new drink. But here in Norway, I have yet to hear anyone raise their voice or even yell in public. This is shocking to me, because I would expect people to at least get angry at each other. But no, here, nobody ever does that. Nobody even gets upset over they got the wrong drink or the wrong meal. They won't even go complain about it. That's how calm they are here. And it's such a relief to me because I can just go through life and everyone is calm. They can solve it on their own. They don't have to call the police or get all angry. It's a real nice change of scenery, and it makes your life so much less stressful because let's say you're working a job, you don't have to worry about somebody yelling at you or somebody telling you, give me that, give me this. All right, and the final thing that surprised me about Norwegian culture is how connected to nature people are here. You know, coming from California, I never really had a lot of nature around me. If I wanted to go on a hike or go to the beach, it would be at least 30 minutes to 1 hour minimum. But here in Norway, nature is literally right outside your doorstep. And I remember first coming here and seeing so many different people out hiking, walking, biking, you know, older people to younger people to people in the middle. Everyone was out in the nature. And I think this is why Norway is one of the happiest countries on earth, because they're so connected to nature and the outdoors and, you know, cabins. It's so amazing to see. And I personally have fallen in love with nature now. I used to not really like hiking or walking, but now it's something I do every single day. Literally every day I walk or hike. And I bet there's so many more beautiful places to go in Norway to hike. I only know a small amount of Norway, but I would love to go hiking to all these other amazing places because it just clears your mind and it's such a healer. You know, I heard this Norwegian saying that fresh air cures everything, and I absolutely agree. I think that being outside and smelling the air and all the trees around you, it's just such a heal for anything you're going through. So that was very, very surprising for me to see because I am not used to people hiking or walking a lot or going out into nature. I'm used to, in California, people, you know, walking to the grocery store or just playing on their phones. But here in Norway, yeah, it's unbelievable to see how connected people are to nature. All right, and that does it for the video. Those are the 4 surprising culture shocks I have seen in the Norwegian culture. If you guys want to be part of my journey and my life in Norway, make sure you go down there, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. I'll be responding to every single comment. I'm going to be doing more videos of outside, showing you guys the beautiful views very, very soon. I want to shout out my members real quick. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. You guys are amazing. I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you. Thank you. Bye.